course, Avowed is the next big AAA game on the block, so the mainstream media is going to try to defend it tooth and nail, even if it is failing. And so far, the Steam numbers are not looking good for this game, and we can't really use the excuse that, oh, it's on Game Pass, so of course the Steam numbers were going to be bad, given Starfield was also on Game Pass day one, and that hit 330,000 people, all-time concurrent peak on the platform. But now the Gamer and Game Rant and multiple other outlets are saying that, oh, it's topping the best sellers chart on Steam, and clearly the backlash didn't matter. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, of course, if you think Avowed looks cool and you bought it and you are loving it, I'm glad, because ultimately, I want every game to be a success. I want every game to come out and have an audience. I love video games and I want this industry to thrive. I want it to be as successful as possible, even if games come out and they are not for me. But I've talked about this game, I've been live streaming a playthrough, I've tried to give it a chance, and so far I am not impressed with it at all whatsoever. If you did not tell me who made this game, and then you told me it was Obsidian, I would be like, there's no shot that that is the case. They are just a company that are the shell of what they once were, and this really does not scream Obsidian at all whatsoever, at least to me. And then, of course, leading up to release, we had controversy after controversy with people like Matt Hansen saying he wants to kick crusty white dudes out of the industry. And oh, if pronouns upset you, wait until you actually have to play the game. And I actually don't think that this game is the wokest game ever. I mean, Dustborn exists, Veilguard exists, and they're significantly worse. It is just a painfully mid experience, in my opinion, and a lot of other gamers feel that way too. But so far on Steam, it has not stirred up a lot of hype. There's not a lot of people who are really playing it, and the media, of course, now is damage controlling, saying, oh, it is a success. So this is a The Gamer article. It says, Avowed is an interesting release for Obsidian Entertainment. Despite the studio's pedigree for RPG experiences, Avowed is Obsidian's first attempt at a first-person fantasy RPG, a subgenre popularized by The Elder Scrolls. The game's 5-day advanced access period for players who purchased the game's premium edition didn't go down particularly well, and criticism of Avowed's role-playing elements began to spread. I think this is so funny, because they're admitting that the advanced access period didn't go down well, but really, the full release only has had 5,000 more people playing than the advanced access. So one would assume if the advanced access was a failure, you would also say the full release has been a failure, but that's not the case. Proponents of Avowed also expressed their satisfaction with the game and were unhappy with the prevailing sentiment emerging from content creators and influencers. It should be noted that Avowed debuted to very positive review scores on Steam and has maintained this rating following its full release. And yes, this is very true. If it will hold those, I would assume yes, because there's not a lot of people playing or reviewing it. It's not like you've got 100,000 people in game and maybe half of those are going out of their way to rate the game. You've got less than 20,000 people who are actually playing it. It says, though, according to a Reddit thread, Avowed is currently the best-selling title on Steam in the United States, beating out pre-orders for Monster Hunter Wilds and purchases of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. First of all, Monster Hunter Wilds has been up for pre-order for several weeks at this point, and next week when it actually releases, we're going to see Avowed tank. But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has also been out for several weeks at this point. It came out on February 4th, so there are plenty of people who had pre-ordered it and then who had bought it, but it's not like anything released on the same day as Avowed to really be full-blown competition. It's got its time in the spotlight, it's got its chance to shine really without a lot of competition, which is fine, but you do have to admit that when you are talking about it. But of course, they're not going to do that because the mainstream media just wants to push their agenda and say, oh my god, Avowed is a success even though it's faced controversy, and you chuds just wanted it to fail, but it's not failing. I'm sorry. You can try to convince normies all you want that it's a smashing success, but having 17,490 people in-game is not a good all-time peak for a company like Obsidian. We are talking about a very prestigious studio within this industry. They should be able to muster up more than 20k people in a game on a release week. Sorry, that's just not what I would view as a smashing success, and neither would most gamers. And there's a lot of people saying, oh, it came out day one Game Pass. Of course, that's how most people are going to play it. And true, I'm sure that a lot of people are playing it via Game Pass, but companies still need copies to sell outside of Game Pass subscriptions. They need people to still be swiping their credit cards. And if we look at other major releases over the past couple of years that were on Game Pass day one, they still did good. Look at Starfield, 330,000 people at release on Steam, and that was beside the day one Game Pass numbers. So games can still do good. Gamers will still go out of their way to buy the games and support the studios if they think that they are either good enough or they are going to enjoy the experience. But that's not happening with Avowed. 17,490 people is abysmal on release week, and there's just no way that you can spin that as a super positive situation. Now, sure, we do know that it is currently the best-selling title on Steam in the United States, but is it going to hold that position? Probably not. And again, there's really no competition for it right now. Next week, Monster Hunter Wilds comes out, and a lot of gamers are going to be talking about that and playing that, and then Avowed is going to be left in the dust. Of course, though, the Gamer is not the only outlet doing this. Game Rant is saying Avowed is already a big hit on Steam, and it's off to a very strong start with positive reviews, an active player count, and a promising modding community, and it's a top seller on the charts, surpassing new releases like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Then Fandom Wire is saying despite being marred by controversy, Avowed outdoes Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on Steam, all ignoring the fact that Kingdom Come 2 came out weeks ago. And I think that Kingdom Come 2 did also have a lot of controversy behind it because of what people like Daniel Vara were saying, but it still had significantly more people playing it and significantly more people even talking about it. So the media can try to paint it as a positive picture all they want, but it really is not that good of a situation for Obsidian to find themselves in, or for Microsoft to find themselves in. Now, of course, this game did launch in the middle of the week, so maybe over the weekend we'll see these numbers shoot up. Lots of people will be playing Avowed, and ultimately that would be the best case scenario for Obsidian and Microsoft, but I just don't see that happening. Usually release days are the strongest days for companies. That is when most people know that they're going to be playing it, or they're going to give it a shot, even if it's only for an hour or two, just because they've had so much hype for it leading up to release that, oh my gosh, they just can't contain themselves and they need to get in game, even if it's only for a little while. And that didn't happen. So of course I will be keeping my eye on this. And as I mentioned, I have been live streaming a full playthrough since I've talked about it on the channel. I think that it's only fair to play it and give it a shot. And so far it's just been painfully mid. So check out the links in the description and follow me on social media to see when I will be streaming it more. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.